Welcome back for another fantastic Super Mario Galaxy 2 any percent tournament race. This is going to be a good one. Today we have ShadowFrost from the Netherlands on the left, and men8672 from Japan on the right. These are both very good players. I believe ShadowFrost has a 312 and Men has a 308. And this is Super Mario Galaxy 2, and this is a race, so anything can happen. So, we just gotta wait and see. Looks like the race has started. It looks like our feed on Men a few seconds ahead of ShadowFrost, but that's fine. So we just got the prologue right here. There's nothing too much here. Things can go wrong, of course, but yeah, not too much happening right here. Just long jumping through here, trying to get to the castles. Mario Galaxy is a very complicated game. There aren't any huge major sequence breaks kind of skips, but there are plenty of skips within stages. For any percent involves collecting 70 stars as fast as possible, which unlocks the final Bowser stage. So it's actually possible to skip one of these text boxes. These text boxes are a little bit different from most of the ones throughout the game. In most of the game, the text boxes involve holding A and then pressing A. Because holding A makes the text scroll faster. But these ones, you just spam A. So, players are now in Sky Station 1. It's a very complicated level. It's very tricky. It's very easy to die in. So there's multitude of ways to traverse through this stage. Right here, we might see the players go for a Luma bounce, which is a launch star. Then neither of them go for it. Which is fair enough, because the Luma bounce, I believe, saves 1 second, and it's very risky. You will die if you fail it. So you can see the players are keeping some star bits because they will need it in the boss fight. So this boss fight is actually quite complicated as well. Many people don't know that you can actually ground pound the shell of Pee-wee Piranha to break it instantly, whereas usually I believe it takes 3 spins. So they'll also be trying to hit Pee-wee Piranha's butt right after breaking the shell as well, without letting it run away. And both of them seem to be very successful. Very good Sky Station ones from both. I would usually consider anything below 5 minutes for this star grab to be really good. The best I've ever done personally is a 450. On the Wii U Virtual Console. The Virtual Console saves a bit of time in load times compared to the Wii, and Japanese also saves time in text compared to. We don't know exactly how much, but we know for sure that it is faster in some level. So not much happening. Lubba just talking to us after the first star. Unfortunately, we can't skip that. So the players are going to be heading back into Sky Station. Although the good game tries to suggest that you enter Yoshi Star. So Sky Station 2 is another pretty tricky level. It's cycle-based, as you can see those platforms moving up and down in that cylindrical planet. So everything's on a very tight timer if you want to make the optimal cycle. That chomp with the key inside can be a little bit annoying. Sometimes the green plant does not behave as you would expect it to. It's actually possible to skip that text box from the Luma that's from the launch star, but it's very, very precise. And only one person has ever done it in a run unintentionally. We see men making the fast cycle, the launch star, while ShadowFrost has to wait slightly for this platform to move down. Not too much on this switch planet, it's just movement. You want to make sure you don't spend too much time in the air. You can see men skipping that check, which is quite risky. I have died in this level, and after missing that check. In Galaxy 2, you only respawn at a certain point if you have collected those flags, which means that it is quite punishing if you die, because many times the checkpoints are slightly out of the way, are a little bit slow to collect. So if the players want to play safe, they might go out of their way to, but they usually would not in a run, especially so early into the run, where they would otherwise reset if they died. So now the players are heading into Yoshi Star Galaxy, and we get to see how broken Yoshi can be in this game. Yoshi Star 1 has a flutter that skips a planet. I think it's one planet in it, and it's definitely considered one of the harder Yoshi flutters. Yoshi fluttering can be quite complicated. Yoshi gets most speed by fluttering side and slightly backwards, and he only gets enough momentum about. We see men going for this skip. It just skips one planet where you have to break a crystal to get a launch star. ShadowFrost also going for the skip. Men fails the skip, unfortunately. It's a very big time loss in this galaxy if you fail this Yoshi flutter. We can see ShadowFrost playing it safe, not dismounting Yoshi and to just flutter slowly. And we see Men has to start over from the beginning and kill this magic Koopa to unlock Yoshi again. So ShadowFrost comes back in the lead. We also see both players grabbing the comet medals. Comet medals spawn comets, and they will be grabbing most comet medals because many comet stars are some of the fastest stars. And you can collect any 70 stars there, including some which are required. So Men deciding to not go for the flutter anymore. I didn't miss if he accidentally ate the berry, and therefore not able to go for it anymore. ShadowFrost finishes up Yoshi Star 1 9. So now ShadowFrost is gonna be heading into Yoshi Star 2, where there's yet another Yoshi flutter to skip planets, but except this time it's gonna be skipping almost the entirety of the stage. He's gonna go straight from first Yoshi egg all the way to the boss. And this time it's a lot less risky to go for. It's almost required, in fact. You don't lose that much time if you fail it, and it skips a lot of the level. Now, ShadowFrost actually does an interesting setup. Most people would do this flutter facing in the upright direction, but ShadowFrost has very interesting setups for many of the Yoshi flutters, and he generally prefers going in a curved path. So this boss fight has a few tricks to it. We can see both players trying strats where they can grab a third spiny before it disappears after shooting the second spiny for the second hit. That saves a bit of time. We see Men doing a funny little glitch. I think it's frame perfect, where Yoshi can start sliding around if you uncrouch at the right time. So now ShadowFrost is heading into the spin dig. Fortunately, we only do spin dig 1 and not the second mission. Second mission is just a little bit too slow because it spawns the drill power up inside the end of Starship Mario, which involves quite a long cutscene and having to walk back up to the top of Starship Mario. So we see here, first of all, he's gonna go down and grab this comet medal over to the right, and then he's gonna do a little clip into the tall pillar, which saves him having to walk all the way to the left. Does not get the clip, however. You also see them doing a homing ground pound into the drill, which gives a lot of momentum. Usually walking with the drill is quite slow. So ShadowFrost is entering this boss fight here, and it's one of the few instances of RNG in this game. This boss can either start to bounce to the left or to the right. So, players are gonna want to try to get under an emulate. ShadowFrost does not get lucky. So if you manage to get under Diggalate, he stops bouncing immediately, goes to the other side, and starts drilling. That saves a bit of time. You can see the players shooting away their star bits whenever they don't need them. And that is because star bits at the end of a level will open a text box saying, "Oh, you got star bits," and that takes about 1.5 seconds. The same goes for coins, except coins cannot be gotten rid of. Some players do like to try to avoid the coin fall, but it's not that big of a time save anyway. So again, unfortunately, Spin Dig 2 is not done in any percent, which is unfortunate because Spin Dig 2, in my opinion, is actually a really fun level. So instead, the players are going to be heading off to Right Side Down now, and Right Side Down is a very tricky level as well. The main gimmick of this is that you don't actually have to flip any of the switches that normally turn gravity upside down. Some precise jumps can get you through much more quickly than if you stop to flip the switches. It's also very deadly. in many places you will fall off if you miss jump. It's the first instance of the fire flower, you see. Yeah, you can jump right underneath those boxes. Fairly precise, and if you don't make it, you will get crushed by those boxes and die. See men going for the box skips as well. Yeah, and you can jump like on the side of this ending planet here. It's actually intended. Nintendo definitely knew about this, and they put secrets at the four corners of this area. Looks like we just got raided by SpeedGaming. Welcome everyone. This is Super Mario Galaxy to any percent. Any percent tournament. Got two very good players here. This should be a very close match indeed. So now the players are heading back into Right Side Down for the secret mission. And some players may some people might remember this game for being notorious. It's, in my opinion, it's not quite as bad as the trash bombing minigame in Galaxy 1. It should not pose a threat at all for these very experienced players. ShadowFrost finishes 10 seconds remaining, which is a pretty respectable time. Ooh, Men misses a few boxes there, being controlled slightly, finishing 9 seconds remaining. It's actually possible to finish with 14 seconds remaining, though I've never done it before personally. Yes, Men is in fact from Japan. And I think in fact he is the only Japanese runner of this tournament. He also has the second best time in Japan, only 7 seconds behind the best Japanese time. So now the players are heading into Fluffy Bluff. The new strat is to do Fluffy Bluff 1 before the secret, because of slightly better cycles. So we see a difference in route here where ShadowFrost, Fluffy Bluff 1, Men's grabbing the secret, and we just saw Men jump from the big cloud all the way to the ending planet. That's a big skip, it saves a lot of time, and it also means that this is the only comet medal in an actual stage that we do not grab. That skip saves so much. Oh no, it looks like Men was 1 coin short, so he had to go back down to near the cloud flower to grab an extra coin there. These timer on these coins quite, especially the ones inside the room, where if you miss either of the first two rings, the other ones will not spawn. That's basically it. At least with the ones on top of the cloud, still jump back down for a backup. The section in the secret area also requires very tight movement. Saw men mess up slightly there. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. So now ShadowFrost heading back to the galaxy, collect the 100 coins for the Honeybloom. So now Men's heading back into the galaxy for the main mission. ShadowFrost feeding the Honeybloom. This trick is actually a lot harder as Mario than as Luigi. A 242 star, which is 100% speedrun. You wouldn't do this skip at all until the green stars, which obviously would do it. Because you would have unlocked him by then. That makes it a lot more forgiving. So you can see the cloud power-up is very, very powerful. So now it's time for the first boss world. So this final galaxy in World 1. And there's a very tight cycle here, which I'm not sure if either player will go for. If not, they'll just wait for another for the thwomp to come down and up once more. Looks like ShadowFrost does in fact make it. There's a big skip here where you can go on top of the castle. Going on top of the castle is actually intended, because they put a green star here. And jump straight to the boss planet from the top of the castle. So that skips most of the galaxy. This boss fight is also quite tricky. It's not too bad if you just do it the normal way, but the fast strategy is to hit all 6 red bulges while he's still in the air, without waiting for him to dive down, and the movement for that can be very precise. The ShadowFrost doesn't quite make the 3rd hit, so he's going to have to wait for Gobblegut to dive down. Yeah, ShadowFrost having to wait for Gobblegut to dive down for the last few hits. He gets hit. It is possible to recover from this, but he does make it. 2 players are right on par with each other right now. You can see these 2 cutscenes playing at the exact same time. Because Men makes the fast strats and ShadowFrost is not. That makes all the difference. So, players just grab their first Grand Star, which unlocks World 2. Nothing happening much right now, just a long cutscene. Again, Men does have a better peak, but this is Galaxy 2 and it is a tournament race, so anything can happen, and this is definitely anyone's game. So now the players are entering World 2 and they're going to start off with Puzzle Play, which is required. They are not going to be doing the secret stock because it is a little bit too slow. It involves collecting a lot of coins. There's not much to say about this level, it's just very tight movement. ShadowFrost is still 2 seconds ahead, maybe. You can actually backflip straight into that launch star without having to go around to the other side. Both players. Wait for the change. It's actually possible to get a double pound where a single ground pound will move the block twice. But it's very rare and we don't know why it happened. So we just don't rely on it. And there's nothing much to this mini boss fight. Ground pound it twice. Ooh, ShadowFrost missing second hit. Still a little bit ahead. So Lubba wanting to talk to us again. Honestly, Lubba just talks too much. So both players heading off into Haito Falls with another level with Yoshi, which means Yoshi flutters. Except the Dash Pepper is actually fast, so they'll be using it through most of the level. There'll be a very easy infinite flutter near the end. If anyone is learning to speedrun this game and trying out infinite flutters, I would recommend starting with this one. The margin for error is very big, and it's not difficult. So we see both players going up the wall on the left side here. Ooh, ShadowFrost falling down, but the main reason they do this is to grab that extra dash pepper on the left. That allows them to continue having the dash pepper through the beginning of this next section. So now they're gonna infinite flutter from here over to the right side of that next planet. So that's gonna save a little bit of time taking a launch star and going off to the left. Triple climbing over that wall. The only reason they do this actually is to grab this comet medal, because they do need it. Later on during the comet, we're gonna see a different strat that does not involve infinite fluttering over to that right. We also see men jumping off Yoshi, ShadowFrost jumping off Yoshi as well, both grabbing the star. Jumping off Yoshi while in dash pepper mode gives you a lot of momentum. So now the players are heading off into Cosmic Cove. They're going to do both the first mission and the secret, not the second mission, because that is a very slow star. What they're actually going to be doing is grabbing enough coins, which is 15 coins, to feed the Hungry Luma. They're going to feed the Hungry Luma, and then grab the regular mission star. Doing this is a little bit faster. Mainly because of the launch star from the Hungry Luma already being spawned. They're also shooting some of these snoodles with star bits and then shining their light on them. Doing this makes them drop a coin instead of 3 star bits like they normally would. So getting 2 extra coins from these snoodles gives 15 coins just nicely without having to go out of your way at all. We see both players feeding the Hungry Luma and spawning the secret planet, and then heading off to the waterfall to grab the star inside the crystal. So now that player's going to be heading into Cosmic Cove again. They're going to be careful to select star 1 and not 2. It's very easy to accidentally select star 2 here, which will lose a fair amount of time from having to watch the cuts spawning into star 2 and then exiting the level again. You do not want to do Cosmic Cove 2 in any percent. And they're also going to be grabbing star bits here to shoot the bunny with. If you shoot the bunny in just the right spot, it makes catching him a lot easier. We see men shooting the garbage at the bunny. ShadowFrost choosing to press the switch to activate the ice instead. That brings men just a little bit further ahead. And I think we're going to switch to men's audio right now. Please let me know if it sounds good. So we see the players are now going to go and talk to Banktoad. And Banktoad is the reason why we don't need any star bits. We don't need to collect any star bits at all in this run. You need about 4850 for this category. In this category, you do not do Fleet Glide Galaxy. And obviously, you don't do Football Galaxy in World S. And I believe you feed every other Hungry Luma. So now they're heading into Honeybloom Galaxy. The secret star is fairly easy. It's a very fast star. I think it might be the fastest star in this run. But we're gonna see that in Honeybloom 1, which I presume both of them are gonna be next. Honeybloom 1 is a fairly recent addition to the route. We used to do Supermassive Galaxy instead. But we realized that since we do Honeybloom Secret anyway, not having to watch the cutscene again from 1 actually is fast. Turns out to be faster than doing Supermassive. So you see the first instance of a letter warp. They just spawn at the bottom of Starship Mario, but they also received a letter from Male Toad at the same time. Which means they get warped back up to the home. That saves them from having to walk back up to the top of Starship Mario. Now, Men's back in Honeybloom for the main mission now, and should we just say the movement here is very complicated and difficult. I think I'll just leave it to you to watch. Well, unfortunately, Men has to wait for another back over the chopper to wait for him to go up. It's actually possible to jump off these clouds without the bee suit before they disappear, but it is fairly precise. You only have a couple frames to do it. You do want to avoid the bee mushroom as much as possible. Bee Mario is slow. He climbs slowly, he moves slowly. So I see both players got hit there before the pole section. So just to lose the bee mushroom and be able to climb up the poles as regular Mario. Man just doesn't make it on that last flower there, but it can be a huge problem. Still managed to grab that star nicely. Still just a few seconds ahead of ShadowFrost here. So now the players are heading into Bowser's Lobular, which is the first time we're going to fight Bowser. This stage can be quite difficult. It's quite easy to lose time here. They're going to be grabbing a life shroom on this second planet, the second cylindrical planet, which they're going to want to keep through most of the level, because it allows them to do slightly faster skip towards the end. It involves taking damage from the lava to skip the snake blocks. So first of all, they skip killing that Magic Koopa. Not too difficult there. Grabbing this life mushroom. Both players getting burned after getting the life mushroom. It means they'll have to go slightly out of their way for a coin. See men here going for this diagonal wall jump. That allows them to get down here a little bit quicker and only taking 2 hits. Sometimes that wall can be a little bit finicky. It doesn't let you wall jump when you think you should, and you get a ledge grab animation and just fall down. That can be annoying. And there's a comet medal for this level. So right here, men's probably gonna go for the statue jumps, which requires at least 4 health to go for. See ShadowFrost going for it as well. These statue jumps are quite precise. You have to be exactly in the center of the statue, and ShadowFrost going slightly off course there, falling into the lava and not able to recover from it. He also didn't grab the checkpoint, which means he's starting from all the way back here. Very unfortunate. Now men's just breaks the door and gets into the Bowser fight. It's actually possible to break 2 of those locks at once, but it's very, very precise and rarely happens. So in this first Bowser fight, there's not too much to it. He just wants to make sure that Bowser doesn't punch the meteors that fall down from the sky, and he just wants to make sure. I mean, he's absolutely sure he hits Bowser with the meteors as fast as possible. You know, ShadowFrost going around the snake blocks, which is gonna lose him a fair bit of time. He grabs that life mushroom, so he's gonna go for the statue jumps on the left side now, I think. Yeah. This is a little bit easier because you activate the snake block, so it's possible to get back on the snake block if you fall off. men a fair bit ahead of ShadowFrost now, grabbing that second Grand Star at just under 52 minutes. So Men now in World 3, and he's going to start off by heading into Cloudy Court, where we get to see the Cloudflower again, and the runners are going to abuse the Cloudflower to its full potential. They're going to be using the Cloudflower to skip platforms. You see Men do a cloud-boosted long jump to the Cloudflower, so that he still has 3 clouds afterwards, making him able to cut the corner slightly. He jumps all the way to the top of this platform, skipping the need to climb it from the bottom, which the launch star would normally bring you to. See Men also going over the top of that structure there. It's possible to grab this Comet Medal and make it out of these walls before they close in on you. You see Men making it very nicely. Plenty of time to spare. It can be very scary going for it. If you make one mistake, you probably will be getting crushed by those walls. ShadowFrost now entering the galaxy. Men now heading into Freezy Flake. Presumably for the Secret Star, you do both the Secret Star and the regular mission. The first mission here. Second mission is a little bit slow. If you could execute 6 to 7 frame perfect inputs, there is a major skip that allows you to skip straight to the boss fight in Freezy Flake 2, and that would make it very worth it for any percent, but unfortunately most players are not able to skip. Only 2 players, I believe, have ever done it. See ShadowFrost not going for that fast cycle, he should wait near the Comet Medal. This is the first chimp minigame that we see Men going into. This one is fairly simple. It involves skating into these gummits. Just needs 500 points. Later on, we're going to see him do a version of this where you need 600 points instead. And that makes it definitely more possible to mess up. You can make quite a few mistakes in this and still not be too worried about not having enough points. There are just plenty of points here. ShadowFrost Nunchuck does not seem to be cooperating. Seems to be continuously disconnected. Now ShadowFrost entering the pipe to the chimp challenge as well. Men's about to head back into Lake. Just gonna be doing the first mission now. This main mission involves a very tight cycle. Because the comet metal is inside an ice block on the opposite side of the pipe, which leads to the next area. So the players are going to want to break the ice block to the comet metal on this fire flower cycle right here, without needing to wait for another one. If they don't make it, they will need to grab another fire flower, which is going to take 20 seconds maybe. So you see that Men does in fact make it. Grabs that other fire flower, triple jumps over to the pipe while breaking the block. And now he's going to be able to break this Bowser statue with this fire flower without needing to go all the way around the planet to grab another one. Very nicely done from Men. So, Men's now in Haunty Halls 1. There's a few cycles here to be made. He also wants to be avoiding the boos as much as possible. See ShadowFrost and Crazy Flick 1 trying to go for the fast cycle. Oh, he does not get it. He spins just after this fire flower runs out. Now he gets to see the backup. Oh, and he's getting trolled by these ice bits as well. I'm not sure if he's gonna wait for another one. No, he's just gonna go around this planet to grab the fire flower at the end. Men here is gonna make some of these gaps with a long jump instead of having to wait for the platform. Is he gonna be able to grab that? No, he just doesn't make the cycle for the first comet medal. So, and this pipe is Yoshi, which means another Yoshi flutter. It's gonna be fluttering as far as possible straight into the star. If he doesn't get the star, it's not a big deal. There's a flower grapple right afterwards, which he can use to bring himself back. Some players also like to grab the bulb berry for safety. We see there him then use flower grapple to bring himself back towards the star. So we see ShadowFrost in Haunty Halls 1 himself. Men's heading into Haunty Halls 2. And Haunting Halls 2 is the long jump simulator of this game. There are not too many obstacles in the way, but many gaps in the floor, and men's just going to be long jumping through it as much as possible. Don't get me wrong, it is a very tricky star to do fast. It is very easy to fall through one of these gaps and die. We see ShadowFrost does make it to that comet medal. Well, Ben almost flutters straight into the star. He doesn't opt to go for the flower grapple, actually. He just flutters back to the star, taking a few seconds to do so. These boos here at the end of Haunting Halls 2 don't pose any threat if you long jump through it. So Men feeding his second Hungry Luma, which is going to unlock Block. And Beat Block involves alternating between green and yellow blocks every 4 seconds. It requires good timing to move through it at a brisk pace. ShadowFrost making his way through Haunting Halls 2, continuously long jumping as much as possible. See Men making the fast cycle to grab that comet medal very quickly. Grabs the checkpoint for safety. Anything can go wrong in a race. Oh, he barely just doesn't manage to grab that star before the platform changes back to green, so he has to wait for a cycle. Around that doing players actually he heads back to Flip-Top Galaxy. Very nice open. Moving high boot. You long jump, spin and long jump to the right time. Fly. ShadowFrost not grabbing that checkpoint. Better hope he doesn't die. He will be going back to the beginning. See men lining up this jump. Doesn't manage to get it. The momentum boosted jump is actually quite tricky as Mario. And 120 or 242, you would be doing this level as Luigi. You would never come here as Mario. And the trick is much easier as Luigi. That one jump should be easier because of the different angle that you walk onto the platform at. We get to see then fly through the stage. So ShadowFrost is doing the old route where he goes in tall trunk now. Tall Trunk 1 is also one of the harder stars to speedrun. Climbing this tree without Yoshi is a few seconds faster and very precise. Especially that long jump right there. Can definitely have you falling all the way to the bottom if you don't make it. So I believe Men's now doing his first comet, Yoshi Star Comet. This one involves using the Rainbow Star to kill all 30 Spinies. I personally found this to be one of the most difficult stars, casually. Once you have some practice, it shouldn't be too bad. Although some weird things can happen if you run into a wall or try to turn too quickly. You will lose your speed, and Rainbow Mario takes a long time to build up speed. We just saw ShadowFrost there, grabbing the 5-star chip with with Yoshi. Very quickly. I think he didn't quite grab the Comet Medal optimally, but that flutter into the Comet Medal is very, very precise. Comet clock at 10 seconds. There's a looking, but they pose that threat. Saw men getting very fast hits on PvP Piranha. Second hit is definitely easier. For some reason, PvP Piranha just seems to stop a little bit more for the second hit. ShadowFrost just long jumping through this level as much as possible. Long jump is a little bit faster than walking. So now men's going to be heading into Tall Trunk. And I believe ShadowFrost heading to plane. It's just going to grab the 1 star from to World 1, I believe. Ben doing a similar method of climbing the tree. He moves a little bit faster by doing these side flips instead of stopping. Just some minor optimization. Also, we can note that since 2 runners are using slightly different routes, right now it might be a little bit hard to tell who's ahead. I believe Men should still be ahead. He was very much ahead after beat block 1. It was the last time that the routes were synced. See this strategy for grabbing the star chips, ditching Yoshi there to wall jump into the launch star. ShadowFrost collecting these coins very briskly. It actually requires pretty tight movement. You need to be moving in a specific line to grab all 4 coins in each cluster at once. Infinite fluttering upwards is not very fast. Blimp is. That's why they're gonna rely on the blimp fruit. Teaching Yoshi there for that last bit of height to make it straight into the star. So now ShadowFrost back in 1, and he starts from the left, going to high station first. Then now doing Cloudy Court Comet, which is what we just saw ShadowFrost do. ShadowFrost, yep, grabbing that clock there just to be safe. You don't want to be running out of time in this star, getting sent back to the beginning. ShadowFrost gets a good second hit. See some differences in the strategy that Men uses in that last section. ShadowFrost opting to slow down a little bit after each long jump. Men knows exactly how he's gonna use long jumps, so he always lands on a platform and not over a gap. So I think Men's gonna be heading into Bowser's fearsome fleet now, which is where the route converges for now. Except the only difference at this point is that ShadowFrost has done Puzzle Comet, and Men has not. So ShadowFrost now in Yoshi Star Comet. Again, requiring good movement to not lose your speed. I'm not completely sure if Men does the advanced version of the Yoshi Flutter and Fearsome Fleet. There is an intermediate, more beginner-friendly version of the Infinite Flutter. Either way, the fluttering through this level is very fast. It skips almost all of the level. Mostly it skips riding on these yellow platforms, which you otherwise would have to wait for. Yeah, Men doing the intermediate version where he goes over to the checkpoint. Oh, he doesn't quite get the right angle. Falls to his death because he doesn't make it over. So this time he does make it over to the checkpoint. He grabs Yoshi. And he's going to want to hit this switch after breaking the cage. Thing that spawns the airships she wants to stand on in order to grab the comet medal. And after that he can just flutter straight over that next cage. Oh, it looks like he's fluttering under it instead. No problem at all. Very nice. This boss fight can be a little bit tricky as well. I'm not sure if you're intended to be able to hit him twice with both of the bullet bills that he shoots out at once. It's definitely faster to do it. So now we see ShadowFrost and Flip Swap as well. He does make that first big long jump. Makes the second one very nicely as well, landing right after the checkpoint. That is exactly the spot where you want to land. Going for this jump as well, landing near the checkpoint. And then just long jumping all the way to the end. So I see Men get the fast hits on the back. So now he's gonna actually flutter up and hit the glass cage containing Bowser before Mega Hammer bends down, and you can actually hit. He's actually vulnerable before bending down. So we see him kill off Mega Hammer very quickly indeed. And that is World 3 complete from Men. ShadowFrost should now be heading into Fearsome Fleet as well. See ShadowFrost doing a different strategy here. He's gonna flutter to the top of that asteroid or moon-like object. I believe he's gonna try to flutter to the question block. Yes, inch his way towards the question block because he just went too far to the left of it. Now this requires a very precise angle so that he can curve out to the left to grab the comet medal and back over to the right to make it underneath that structure. He wants to gain a lot of height and ditch Yoshi in order to make it up. Very nicely done. That is what we call the question block flutter, executed very nicely. So now Men in World 6, he's just fed the Honeybloom to unlock Sweet Mystery. Sweet Mystery is another galaxy with Yoshi, so he's going to be using Yoshi to fly through the entire stage. He doesn't quite get the right angle to make it to the comet medal. The flutter back and forward slightly. Yeah, now making his way all the way to the end. He's gonna skip pressing these flip switches by fluttering, straight from the end of this platform onto the next area. I believe he probably tried to get an angle to go straight for the star, but that angle is not quite good enough. So he's gonna have to grab another ball berry. Very nicely done. We see ShadowFrost finishing up the boss from World 3. Then now heading into Flip Swap, another galaxy with a huge skip. World 4 has a lot of tricks to it. It's known to kill a lot of runs and be very tricky for runners. There's a very huge high concentration of skips in World 4. You see men jumping over to the comet medal, barely making it back up that ledge. He's gonna jump straight from this comet medal over to the next area, and skipping the launch star that brings him here. He's gonna not spawn some of the death barriers that would otherwise be here. So he's gonna do a backflip, slide off the roof. He's gonna land, make it straight into the boss planet's gravity. So that effectively skips the entire galaxy. If you know what to do, this boss is also a joke. You can just ground pound him as soon as he becomes vulnerable. So I wonder now if ShadowFrost might be going for more strats that he might not usually go for, or might not otherwise do in this race, knowing that he's behind. Well, I also wonder if Men might be going for more safe strats, try to maintain his lead and not fall, but not lose too much time to risky strats. We see another instance of ShadowFrost doing flutters slightly differently from other people. He prefers doing these curved path flutters instead. fluttering in a straight line. It's just how he prefers to do the flutters. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. In fact, I really like that he was able to find these strats on his own. ShadowFrost barely is able to grab that ball berry before he falls off. Men here now in Flips Field 2, and we just saw him jump around that wall to make it straight into the launch star. He also is going to skip the spin drill on the second planet here by just wall jumping all the way up to the pipe. And there's a very fast cycle here, which Men looks like he just made. Yep. By grabbing that drill as early as possible, you can make it to that bottom right corner room before the gravity flips. So he's just gonna grab these 5 silver stars very quickly. And it's possible to grab this star directly when digging through from the left. But it is a little bit weird. He does manage to grab it. That hitbox is a little bit weird. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. ShadowFrost now in Flipsville as well. Probably gonna do the same skip. And he does make it to the boss planet, no problems at all. See Men now in Chomp works. Try to strat where you can jump up the right side of that slope because it's not slippery on the very edge. But he doesn't get it and he goes for the backup wall jump strat instead. On this area that Men's just reached now, it's possible to touch that green seesaw platform in a way such that it can still be down. We see him get it very nicely, so that the first chomp reaches the green seesaw while it's already down. So that skips having to wait for the second. On this final platform here, he wants to go over to this golden chomp and lead him back to the start. It's unfortunately not possible to make that first chomp without 2 players, because the second player can stop that chomp right in its tracks. But in some sense, it's also a good thing, because it's not too tight at all to make the second chomp. You can make a few mistakes on the way there and still make it no problem. Men just waiting on the switch now, waiting for the chomp to arrive. See ShadowFrost also jumping over that wall, using some wall jumps to help him. Men does not go for the fast cycle here, so he's gonna have to wait Oh, actually, I think he barely made that cycle somehow. So he made it into that bottom right corner room. Then heading back into Chompworks for the second mission. And this mission involves the spring mushroom. He's not going to be using it for most of the level, apart from on the final planet. It's actually possible to do that final planet without the spring mushroom as well. It's just very difficult, especially as Mario, because Mario doesn't jump quite high enough. See, this time he does manage to jump right on the edge of that slope. Here we see the routes deviate again. ShadowFrost heading back into Sweet Mystery for Comet. This Comet doesn't have too much to it, it's very precise move to do it optimally. Wants to have very tight grabbing all of these. And then his way up the final section. Star. ShadowFrost having a little bit of trouble grabbing coins, having to turn for them. So now Men is heading back into World 2 for Puzzle Plant Comet. ShadowFrost is already done. Then you just want to sure you run through center, grab all the not miss any coins and go back later. So now ShadowFrost is in Flipsville Comet, where I think this is actually one of the harder stars to do casually. A lot of the purple coins here are in fairly awkward positions, but the spin drill actually has quite a big hitbox, which allows him to grab many coins while he's in the animation drilling through. ShadowFrost Nunchuck not giving up.
So Men's now in Boulder Bowl 1. He's gonna do a really cool skip here, or he's not gonna go to that planet with the octopus at all. He's gonna use the rock's momentum to jump right over the planet over here and breaking the crystal and making it over to the boss planet. So ShadowFrost is not gonna be hitting Compworks. So Men, we saw kill the boss Rolladillo fairly quickly. He avoided the boss going into his attack as while he's rolling around. You're not able to hit him. So you want to avoid that as much as possible. Now Frost now in Chompworks 1. He hits that seesaw, but it looks like it rebounds before he gets to the switch, so he needs to wait for the second. Just down on the seesaw manual. Again, you cannot make that first ShadowFrost to wait. Men re-entering Boulder Bowl, he's now going to grab the star, the letter. This one involves bringing the Goomba over to the gear mode. This time, he does not need the Comet Medal, so he doesn't need the rock, so he can just long jump over this way. A lot easier. So, let's break that rock, free the Goomba, make absolutely sure that the Goomba does not get crushed by one of these rocks. Actually possible to soft lock, but it's quite precise for that to happen. It's just up Boulder Bowl letter 90. So now Men heads into Hightail Falls Comet, while ShadowFrost heads into 2. Hightail Falls Comet starts out the same as the regular star. You're gonna see a different strat. Instead of the infinite flutter over to the right side of the final area. Again, we see ShadowFrost not Spring Mushroom at all. You can make it around these chomps or even over them without the Spring Mushroom. He does need the Spring Mushroom because it's very difficult without it. Spring Mushroom is very hard to control. He doesn't stay still. He keeps bouncing. It's a little bit annoying. Now again, Men going over to the left side to grab that extra dash pepper so that he still has the effect while here. This time he goes actually into the launch star. So he's gonna jump straight from here towards the all the way up to the platform above with the star. He jumps a little bit late there, so he jumps a little bit forward to ditch Yoshi. But very good backup. Grabs the star, very nice. So now ShadowFrost heading Starshine. Probably my least favorite level. The camera here is very weird. Sometimes it just likes to turn in random directions. Usually away from where you're trying to go. Not cooperating. That can make these silver stars quite a pain. So, there's Yoshi in this level, which means more infinite fluttering. But this infinite flutter can be a bit quite tricky with just the way the cage moves. Breaking this first cage here can be quite weird as well. The game designers obviously did not plan out the breaking of cages using crabs. Ooh, ShadowFrost curves away from the tower just a little bit too much, so he has to ditch Yoshi to get on it. Men's now in Vulnerable Comet. In my opinion, it's the worst star in the game. It is very RNG dependent, and Rock Mario is very hard to control. The crabs are just so spread out, and you get that many of them in one roll. See, ShadowFrost ditching Yoshi to grab that star, utilizing the momentum with the dash. Does not want to forget to go down here and grab this Comet Medal on the top. So now Men's heading back into Fire to fight Gobblegut again with a timer, but it's the exact same fight. Timer is not going to pose a threat at all. While ShadowFrost heads into Starshine. Just one of the biggest skips as well. Normally you would want to swim down to water, swim back up a cavern, hit a switch, which activates Cloud Flower. And while on Cloud Mario, you want to ride a lily pad over to the tower. But we skip on doing all of that by going over to the tower and using a Chester, which throws us high in the air. You can use the cloud, one of the clouds of the tower, to get onto the tower quickly. It can be quite tricky. Timing for the spin is quite precise. Cloud jump also really precise. I'm not sure he's gonna make that. Yeah, he got there too early. Men kills off Gobblegut very quickly. ShadowFrost getting there too early again. wants to make sure the clouds are at the right position before approaching Chuckster. This time he does make it. He does turn around though. Oh, he barely makes it back. Usually you want to not be holding any direction to prevent Mario in directions while on that cloud. Because in this game you move faster back than forward. So you want to make sure that Mario's facing back that entire. So Men now back in World 4, and he's gonna do some of the stars that we've already seen from ShadowFrost. ShadowFrost heading into Chomper Comet now. This star is basically just the last one again, except some cosmic clones chasing you, so you have to make sure you keep moving. This time you can make the first chomp cycle, so you do not want to make too many mistakes on the way there. Other than that, you just gotta make sure you keep moving the whole time. And time the switch press correctly. Not too much to star. Yeah, Men now in Flipstall comment. He may go for a more advanced strat here. That is about one entire cycle fast. You see ShadowFrost heading into Gravity Gauntlet first, but keep in mind that he hasn't revisited World 2. But this does not mean that ShadowFrost is ahead. Yeah, Men doing a different strat where he goes to the top first before going to the bottom and bottom right squares. Yeah, this one requires much more. So ShadowFrost is now doing what's known as behind the castle. Pretty difficult trick. Skips a lot of the level. If he had failed it, he actually wouldn't have been able to go for it again because it required the life shroom. Men finishing up Flipsville Comet very nicely. Now he's going to be heading into Chompworks Comet. So we just saw ShadowFrost delay his first hit on Bowser a little. That skips him doing a punch at the beginning cycle. Instead, because of that, he spawned the meteors right away. But that saves a good amount of time. Other than that, there's not. Fight is basically the same. It's just a little bit harder with more objects to avoid. So now we're gonna see Men head on to the. Oh, he doesn't know about it, but he heads up to Starshine. Frost finishing up Bowser. Unlocking World 5. He's not gonna head into World 5 quite yet. Ooh, Man on the other hand is too far to the right. That means he's gonna do a few extra flutters to get back to the tower. Yeah, after grabbing that star on the peon, so the likes to point away where you actually want to go. When he does not get the strat, Yoshi, so he has to get back on Yoshi and do a side jet. And doesn't forget the Comet Medal. So again, ShadowFrost not quite ready to start with World 5 yet. Now his turn to head back into Boulder Bowl. So, Men and Starshine Beach 2, we will skip will go well. ShadowFrost also. Oh, he does not do that rock strat. Instead, he's going to do a long jump right from the edge of it. It's the way we used to do it. I find it a little harder. But obviously, rock strat also involves learning it. So Men making his way over to the Chuckster. Time right, he should get there. Just he doesn't. I think he probably didn't spin at the right time. Doesn't make it over to the cloud. Just wait for another one. So see ShadowFrost to avoid boss. Possible. or try to chase the back of the boss instead. This time Men makes it up the tower and manages to grab the star. So now Men finally heads into Gravity Gauntlet. And ShadowFrost heads back into Boulder Bowl for the secret. Then we see Men's gonna grab this life shroom. This is it. He grabs it. The only reason behind the castle is fast is because you need the comet medal and the regular star. In the comet, you do a different strat where you jump straight from the life shroom. If you fail behind the castle, you'll also have that strat instead. Behind the castle is a little bit faster because otherwise you have to walk all the way back to the life shroom. ShadowFrost finishes up the Gear Most challenge without too much trouble. So ShadowFrost now in the Falls Comet. Should be doing this strat. Gonna do a mega jump off the side. We also see Men delaying his first hit a bit, so that he's gonna prevent Bowser. For some reason in this fight, Bowser, which makes it a little tricky because Bowser doesn't quite punch what you expect him to, and he can both. With 3 meteors, he's much less like all three. ShadowFrost and high jump. Those the edge of those platforms. The mega jump. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to. Men had to get back. And Men finishes off the Bowser fight. And that is it for World 4. So Men was about the just over 2 minutes ahead maybe like 1 minute. Men has already done Boulder Bowl Comet, which ShadowFrost is going into right now. Again, Boulder Bowl Comet, one of the worst stars in the game, but unfortunately it's fast. Only have a maximum seconds to do it. It started off pretty well, but now he's starting to struggle a little bit with the last few crabs. Still gonna finish, no problem, with almost 10 seconds left to spare. Men's now gonna start in World 5. He's still ahead of ShadowFrost. Not by too much now. I think ShadowFrost is gonna also make back into 5 now. It's very much still anyone's game. We still have an hour left. Oh, my apologies. ShadowFrost still has Boulder. So, double. So Men is, in fact, a few minutes ahead now. Not too much to talk about in Storm 1. It's, this level. Full stars. Men gets our star very quick. ShadowFrost not really getting the fast Gobblegut. To wait for Gobblegut to dive down. No big deal. So Men's gonna be heading back to Space Storm now for the second mission. And Galaxy 1 fans will recognize this music. This is the music from Buoy Base Galaxy. This game. Unfortunately, we won't get to hear too much of it, as there is a skip. It's definitely intended, where you can get on top of one of those balls and straight over to the thwomp. You can then use the thwomp to get a moment jump all the way to the top. It looks like Men's gonna hit the switch. It's actually possible without hitting. Just saves a little bit of time. But so ShadowFrost now in Space Storm 1. Yeah, nothing too much here. There's a fast cycle you can go for. Other than that, moving as quickly as possible. level. The bonk there will not help ShadowFrost. This comet medal can be a little bit tricky to grab. The edges of the platforms are a little bit weird. So now Men is now in Shiver Burn. I'm gonna start off by doing the star, which is the other Chimps challenge. This is the same skating game as the one back in Freezy Flake, except this time 600 points. And this can be known to trip up some runners who are not too This minigame actually only has 3 different, and they're actually all just rotations of them. So you really only have to remember one. I personally don't even remember them because oh, he wants. You're not to miss 2 men. ShadowFrost heading into Space Storm 2 now. ShadowFrost also opting to hit the switch. Oh, he does not. So it goes over to near the. And that can be risky because if you mess up on these fast-moving platforms, you will fall all the way down to the bottom. ShadowFrost can do a backflip up. Men's now in Shiver Burn 1, and we're seeing him doing a skip now, which involves the Cloud Flower. He's going to jump straight to the end of this second. He's going to skip all of the first planet and most. Let's go past the launch star a little, just to grab the comet medal he's going to need. Now ShadowFrost is going to head into Burn. See men turning the to manipulate the cycles of the falling ice. So he's also going to grab the life. Make his way over to the launch star. This boss can be a little bit tricky. There's some strategies to it. Making sure your second hit as early as possible to interrupt during his animation spits nuts in the air. There's also a fast strat here, I'm not sure if men will go for, where you can triple jump over. Yeah, he's going for it. You can triple jump over the top of his head and hit the coconut right as it's coming out. Oh, you can also get the other coconut spits out, but he doesn't touch that. See how ShadowFrost will do in this minigame. Again, this minigame is not too bad if you know exactly where the gummits are gonna be. But it can be very tough. Casual. Finishes with 690 points. What a meme. Now, Men's heading into Blue Moon 1, which involves a pretty large skip. It barely saves enough time for Blue Moon 1 to even make it into. Again, before the skip was found, Supermassive was done instead. ShadowFrost heading back into Shiver Burn. We'll do the same trick. Fairly precise cloud jump. It does make it into that gravity. So Men here is gonna go over to that arrow, activate the gravity. We'll go back to the snake platform and jump from that snake platform straight to the launch star, so he doesn't have to sit through the rest of that auto scroller. That saves a lot of time. See, also grabbing the silver stars in the pop-up book very nicely. ShadowFrost finishes up that boss fight as Men is gonna head into Upside Dizzy now. Upside Dizzy can be pretty tricky with the cycles, especially in final section. The cycles of these moving platforms are a little bit tricky to make. Men doesn't quite make it up there, so for it again. ShadowFrost instead is going to start out with Upside Dizzy, so here the routes are going to diverge again. Remember that ShadowFrost hasn't done Blue Moon 1 yet. Then struggling a little bit with this beginning part of final room. Let's be careful to die here. Very smart of him, going back to grab the coin. But he manages to grab the count medal without taking damage. Quite tricky. He makes it into the star with a well-timed triple jump. So ShadowFrost looks like he's having a better time with this room. He's not stopping too much. Grabs the star. So now both players are going to be heading into Upside Dizzy Secret, which is another trash burning minigame. Men struggling a bit with hitting those crates. Yeah, Frost makes it to the pipe really. Man finishes the game with 8 seconds to spare. Pretty good. ShadowFrost needing a little bit more time with this game. It looks like he's gonna finish with 5. Yep. So both players are going to be heading into Blue Moon now. Man's already done Blue Moon 1, so he's going to be heading in Secret. He's going to be want to be careful to not select Star 2, which he hasn't. Again, that will lose a lot of time to do. ShadowFrost won't have to worry about it. The reason Star 1's because do with that. Doing Star 1 first, because you grab the combo and Star 1 first causes coincide with. So this time he's not going to be doing to jump up the star area. So this time he's going to grab the comet. And right from here he's going to launch straight to the star. Nicely done. So now, Men's back in Shiver Burn. Kill these 30 Octumbas using the Rainbow Star. And it's actually fast. It's actually easier to control Mario while he's running instead of skating. Hence doing it. So ShadowFrost hasn't done Boom Ring 1 yet, so he's gonna go back to do that. It's actually quite hard to judge exactly where that star's. You can't quite the center. So Men's heading off into the boss for World 5, Boom Bunker, while ShadowFrost is about to attempt Blue Moon Skip. He does make into Launch Star, very nice. Now in Boom Bunker, there are 2 cannons, and both cannon shots can really be a little bit scary. The first cannon shot, runner's gonna want to shoot the Boomerang Bro's head, and that's gonna kill a Boomerang Bro immediately. But the shot is quite precise, and if you don't get it, you'll probably die. Oh, it looks like Men doesn't go for that shot. It's understandable. He wants to make lead after. It's not gonna lose him too much time. So now ShadowFrost is ready to go back to Burn. So Men, you can see he doesn't aim at the target. He doesn't quite make that shot. He's actually aiming for the Cloud Flower. And he wants to land on the rotating platforms while grabbing the Cloud Flower. There we go. Now he's just gonna long jump around the grab the column. Head over to remain. There are a number of strats that people use for this boss fight. Some more advanced strats involve wall jumping off the boss and not having to run over to where the wind is and the extra cloud flowers are. So we also see ShadowFrost running here. Seems to be the consensus that running the control. So we also, as we see Men not grabbing the extra cloud flowers, just jumping straight to the boss. Finishes off the boss very nicely indeed. ShadowFrost is now going to head off into Bunker. So Men's now in Melty Monster 1. Move through the first section quickly. You lob a boost to get over to these tornadoes. We also saw ShadowFrost go for the cannon shot into the Boomerang Bro's head, killing him instantly, finishing off Bowser Jr. Very quickly indeed. So there were some skips there. We saw at the end of that planet. So ShadowFrost is now moving into World 6. Then Men's gonna be finishing up Melty Monster because Melty Monster 2 and The Secret are both fairly quick stars. So Men's still at the entirety of Melty Monster 1 ahead. Melty Monster 1's fairly slow star as well. Men's heading up to Melty Monster 2. Or he's gonna roll off to the end as Rock Mario. I don't expect him to go for the slight skip at the end. Possible he might go for it. Then we see ShadowFrost lava boosting his way to the end of this planet. I wonder if he'll be going for the checkpoint. He does. Runners would usually not grab that checkpoint because it's just slightly out of the way for them. Yeah, the gravity on these mini planets can be quite weird. He's gonna jump straight over to the star crystal from there. Well, men heading off and meeting the chimp, I believe, for the final time. Final time in this run, at least. In 120 or 242, we would be seeing the chimp a lot more. Chimp challenges in those categories to be quite relaxed. They give a chance for a break because you have to sit through the entirety of the time. So as long as you got enough points, you can just take a break. So it's actually possible to skip waiting for those three to come back up, so he doesn't go for it, doesn't want to chance it. And I think he made the right decision because he only barely had enough points. ShadowFrost now in Melting Monster 2. Melting Monster 2 can be a little bit weird with the fences. Sometimes you can bounce on the fence, and you often your direction kill you. Doesn't get unlucky with the fences today. So men's now being the Hungry Luma, the last Hungry Luma in this run to unlock Black Galaxy. There's not too much to say about it. It's a little bit tricky to get up without making too many mistakes. Also, because you can't always see where you're going, so you kind of have to rely and trust in yourself to not fall, and knowing the layout of the galaxy very well. ShadowFrost now in Melting Monster. Fun fact, if you enter the secret area and exit, you can actually see this void behind you as you exit the pipe. Then making his way up, making use of the blimp fruits. He's going up the right path, even though he eventually needs to make his way over to the left to grab the comet medal. With that movement, he moves very quickly, grabs the comet medal, and makes its way back over to the right side for the launch star. And he's just gonna long jump through this area, grabbing the 5 silver stars. So, this is where the route diverges again. ShadowFrost heads into Clockwork Ruins first, instead of Flashback. Then, after Flashback's gonna be heading to Slimy Spring. This is probably considered one of the more boring levels in any percent. So ShadowFrost here is collecting the 30 coins that the Hungry Luma wants. It can be a little bit tricky. These rotating platforms have unintuitive physics, so physics fall off. Or you can bong. Too difficult for experienced player like ShadowFrost. Men just making his way through Galaxy with a shell. Nothing too much going on. Just wants to optimize his swimming as much as possible. ShadowFrost unlocks the Hungry Luma. And this entire secret planet's gonna be good via a well-timed wall jump. So men throwing the shell early there. You do not want to miss that chest. Now ShadowFrost heading to Throwback Galaxy. For you old school gamers, this galaxy may look a little bit familiar. So first off, he needs to go off to the left here to grab this comet medal. Shoot into the wild blue area. Then some good wall jumps gonna make... Oh! Spin bonk there prevented him from making his way back up. Now he's gonna fight Womp. Fortunately, this time you can't clip through him by ground pounding. Now men in Clockwork Ruins, well, collecting 30 coins needed. They do not want to do the regular mission in Clockwork Ruins. I think that's the only in the Clockwork Ruins regular mission. Fairly long. And definitely not to be done in any percent. And they can actually move on without collecting the regular star, but the secret star will also unlock the path forward. Just wants to be careful not to die here. ShadowFrost, because he has not grabbed that chip, but no problem at all. Then grabbing the last few coins he needs. He made it on here with only 26. He has to grab 4 extra. It's a bit more than usual. But no problem at all. There are plenty of coins on that final rotating planet thing. Again, he's gonna skip most of this final planet with a well-timed wall jump. We're having a little bit of trouble here. He makes it no problem though in the end. ShadowFrost now in throwback 2. It has this cloud flower, and he's gonna use it to go around the level collecting the 5 silver stars. Has he collected that one? Yeah, I think he missed it. Goes back around to the front. Just gonna jump up using the clouds. Man himself can throw back as well. Does a side flip up to get the comet medal. Oh, he falls down as well. Unfortunate. So now ShadowFrost heading to Flash Black. They just swap the order of the top path and the bottom path. Turns out that doing the bottom path first is slightly faster. That was incorporated into the new route. Showing off how high you can jump when you jump off the back of King Womp. Finishes off King Womp very nicely. ShadowFrost and Flash Black now. Very tight movement to make it up very quickly. He ditches Yoshi, and Yoshi falls down the abyss, so he's gonna have to go back over to the launch star without him. Collects the 5 silver stars without a hitch. Now men gonna go into throwback 2.